Greetings, 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 beautiful soul. Thank you for coming to vibe with me today. And today's vibe is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Those of you who are not familiar with this book, it is an awesome read. Um, I actually just started. I'm on the fourth chapter. It's an awesome read. Very, very, very effective if you receive what you're reading and apply it to your life. Um, so we're gonna get into it. We're gonna read chapter four together. If you don't know, just let me give you a little, give you a little introduction on me if you haven't seen any of my other videos or you never been to my channel before. My name is Lady Lotus. I am a self-love and empowerment life coach for women at Lotus Transformation. And this channel is for everyone, though. It's not just for women. Here on my channel, it's all about helping people create change in their life, helping with the mindset, thinking positive, speaking beautiful affirmations, speaking life is what I like to call it, over yourself, just understanding your habits, meditation, mind body connections, all things of that nature. Just learning to create transformation in your life, seeing the changes that you've been struggling to make. So, yes, and today we are going to read. I am waiting for my son to get out of school, so just doing a little bit of reading. So let me go ahead and get started because I can start rambling and rambling. I'm a talker. I love to talk. And I'm a procrastinator. I love to procrastinate. No. I take that back. I no longer identify as a procrastinator. Yes, I take that back. So you have to be mindful over what I speak over myself. And let me drink to that. My smoothie is almost gone. But anybody who's getting over procrastinations or just getting over the old you and walking into your new self every day, let's big up to you. I'm having berries and kale, blueberries and kale. It's really, really good. I'm almost done. But anyway, so yes. So all about empowerment, self love, self care, encouraging people to be their best selves, and yeah, we're just learning together, growing together, and all of those good things. So yes. So anyway, before we get into the read, um, two things. I will mess up a word. Sometimes it'll be hard for me to pronunciate things. Don't judge me. I'm human and I'm learning. And I may stop in the middle of a read, highlight some stuff, or take some notes. I'm educating myself as I'm educating everybody else who is here. Um, yes, but we is learning together. So yes, let's get into. Before we get into it, I like to do a quick prayer. Um, over the wisdom that we're going to receive, over the knowledge and information we're going to receive. All right, so yes, let's get into it. Wise one, we thank you right now, everybody who has joined me in this reading, in the Atomic Habit reading that we're going to do. I hope that they receive knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from this chapter, and they're able to take the information that they learn and apply it to their daily lives. Wise One, we thank you that we are teachable, that we can receive the word from anything that we're trying to learn, anything that's new in our lives, anything that we're trying to identify with any changes that we're trying to make, any new habits we're trying to form, any new being aware of our thinking and the way we speak, the things we say out of our mouth. Wise One, we just thank you for keeping us encouraged as we grow through this journey of life every day, healing and loving ourselves and loving others and just making great transformation in our life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We receive it. We are ready. Thank you so much. Ashe. All right, let's get into it. Okay. Atomic habits is just helping us. It's breaking down your habits, helping you to understand your beliefs, excuse me, as in why the changes has been hard for you to make in the first place. An awesome quote, not even a quote, a statement that he had made in this book, it really was key to me. He said, "You have a new goal and a new plan, but you haven't changed who you are." Oof. Mm. You have a new goal and a new plan, but you haven't changed who you are. Let me just give you a little something for me for that. So I'm working on my financial status right now, and I'm in a whole I'm building a whole new relationship with money. We're gonna get into the book, I promise. I just, I want to talk. But anyway, yes, we're definitely gonna get into the book. But I'm building a whole new relationship with money. Because my financial situation is not where I would like it to be. It's definitely not where it was, but it's not where I would like it to be. So for that, I've set all these goals and I've budget and I wrote all these things down and I got a strategy and a plan for how I'm going to move forward. Um, but I really haven't changed. Like I did that part of it. I wrote down, okay, this is what I want to do. So I kind of gave myself a vision, but I ain't really do nothing different other than that. It's like, okay, I wrote this down, but I'm still doing the same thing. My spending habits still suck. I haven't changed my relationship with money yet. I haven't changed certain habits, spending habits, and things like that with my money yet. So I keep getting the same results. So it's like, yes. So now, just within reading this, it just helped me break down my beliefs towards money. Why did I feel the way I felt about money? Um, and things of that nature. And it just allowed me to look at the whole relationship that I have with money differently and really put a good strategic plan in place that's going to allow me to put myself in it's going to allow the universe to just really bless me abundantly financially because now I have a different mindset with money. And now my action steps and my habits towards my financial area in my life is different. They say in order to get something, what they say, in order to get something different, you have to, in order to do something, I have it up here on my poster. If you want something you never had, you have to do something you never done, right? So anyway, so that's where I am, and that was just so key to me because it's like I'm setting all these goals, I'm writing all these goals down, but I haven't changed certain parts of myself towards these goals, and I can't prosper in those areas because I have to do something different. Clearly, if any of this makes sense. Okay. All right, so enough rambling, and thank you for listening to me. But yes, we pray and we're going to receive the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of this great read. Okay, chapter 4. The man who didn't look right. Okay. Let me put my reading glasses on because my eyes are already. All right, here we go. Now my glasses on. Don't judge me, okay? Because I need to see. All right. All right, chapter 4, The Man Who Didn't Look Right. The psychologist Gary Klein once told me a story about a woman who attended a family gathering. She had spent years working as a paramedic and upon arriving at the event, took one look at her father-in-law and got very concerned. "I don't like the way you look," she said. Her father-in-law, who was feeling perfectly fine, jokingly replied, "Well, I don't like the way you look either." He like, "So what you saying, cuz?" um, no, she insisted. "You need to go to the hospital now." A few hours later, the man was undergoing life-saving surgery after an examination had revealed that he had a blockage to a major artery and was at immediate risk of a heart attack. Mm. Without his daughter-in-law's intuition, he could have died. What did the paramedics see? How did she predict his impending heart attack? When major arteries are obstructed, the body focuses on sending blood to critical organs and away from peripheral locations near the surface of the skin. The result is a change. The result is a change in the pattern of distribution of blood in the face. The result is a change in the pattern of distribution of blood in the face. After many years of working with people with heart failure, the woman had unknowingly developed an ability to recognize this pattern on sight. She couldn't even explain what it was that she noticed in her father's face, but she knew something was wrong. Berries and kale, that was good. That was really good. Okay. Similar stories exist in other fields. For example, military analysts can identify with blip on a radar screen is an enemy missile and which one is a plane from their own fleet, even though they are traveling at the same speed, flying at the same altitude, and look identical on radar in nearly every respect. During the Gulf War, Lieutenant Commander Michael Riley saved an entire battleship when he ordered a missile shot down. Despite the fact that they look exactly like the battleship's own planes on radar. He made the right call, but even his superior officers couldn't explain how he did it. Okay. Um, Museum curators have been known to discern the difference between an authentic piece of art and an expertly produced counterfeit, even though they can't tell you how precisely, or they can't tell you precisely which details tip them off. Experienced radiologists can look at a brain. Experienced radiologists can look at a brain scan and predict the area where a stroke would develop before any obvious signs are visible to the untrained eye. I've even heard of hairdressers noticing whether a client is pregnant based on the feel of her hair. Okay. The human brain is a prediction machine. It is continuously taking in your surroundings and analyzing the information it comes across. I had to read that for myself. That's why I read that like that to process what I'm speaking. The human brain is a prediction machine. It is continually taking in your surroundings and analyzing the information it comes across. Whenever you experience something repeatedly, like a paramedic seeing the face of a heart attack patient or a military analyst seeing a missile on a radar screen, your brain begins noticing what is important, sorting through the details and highlighting the relevant cues and cataloging that information for future use. Okay, so if you're not familiar with what cues are triggers. Cues triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. So that's what cues are. So what he's saying is your brain begins noticing what is important, sorting through the details and highlighting the relevant cues, which triggers your body to initiate a behavior, and cataloging that information for future use. When enough practice, you can pick up on the cues that predict certain outcome without consciously thinking about it. Automatically, your brain encodes the lessons learned through experience. We can't always explain what it is we are learning, but learning is happening all along the way. And your ability to notice the relevant cues in a given situation is the foundation for every habit you have. Mm. We underestimate how much our brain and bodies can do without thinking. You do not tell your hair to grow, your heart to pump, your lungs to breathe, or your stomach to digest, and yet your body handles all this and more on autopilot. You are much more than your conscious self. Hear that? Hear that? You are much more than your conscious self. Oh, let me look up here in the camera. You are much more than your conscious self. Consider hunger. How do you know when you're hungry? You don't necessarily have to see a cookie on the counter to realize that it's time to eat. Appetite and hunger are governed non consciously. Your body have a variety of feedback loops that gradually alert you when it's time to eat again, and that track what is going on around you and within you. Cravings can arise thanks to hormones and chemicals circulating through the body. Suddenly, you're hungry, even though you're not quite sure what tipped you off. This is one of the most surprising insights about our habits. You don't need to be aware of the cue for the habit to begin. You can notice an opportunity and take action without dictating conscious attention to it. That is what makes habits useful. Mm. It is also what makes them dangerous. I keep looking down here. I gotta get used to looking up here so you can see me. I can see you, and we can, you know, become one. But this is also what makes habits dangerous. As habits form, your actions come under the direction of your automatic and non conscious mind. You fall into old patterns before you realize what's happening. Unless someone points it out, you may not notice that you cover your mouth with your hands whenever you laugh, that you apologize before asking a question, or that you have a habit of finishing other people's sentences. And the more you repeat these patterns, the less likely you become to question what you're doing and why you're doing it. I once heard of a retail clerk who was instructed to cut up. Sorry, I once I once heard of a retail clerk who was instructed to cut up empty gift cards after a customer had used up the balance on the card. One day, the clerk cashed out a few customers in a row who purchased with gift cards. When the next person walked up, the clerk swiped the customer's actual credit card, picked up the scissors, and then cut it in half entirely on autopilot before looking up at the stunned customer and realizing what has just happened. Another woman I came across in my research was a former preschool teacher who had switched to a corporate job. Even though she was now working with adults, her old habits would kick in and she kept asking coworkers if they had washed their hands after going to the bathroom. I also found the story of a man who had spent years working as a lifeguard and would occasionally yell, "Walk," whenever he saw a child running. Over time, the cues that spark our habits become so common that they are essentially invisible. The treats on the kitchen counter, the remote control next to the couch, the phone in our pockets. Our responses to these cues are so deeply encoded that it may feel like the urge to act comes from out of nowhere. For this reason, we must begin the process of behavior change with awareness. Okay. Before we can effectively build new habits, we need to get a handle on our current ones. ASAP. Hear that? Yes. Before we can effectively build new habits, we need to get a handle on our current ones. This can be more challenging than it sounds because once a habit is firmly rooted in your life, it is mostly non conscious and automatic. If a habit remains mindless, you can't expect to improve it. As the psychologist Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Okay. The habit scoreboard. The habit scoreboard. The Japanese railway system is regarded as one of the best in the world. If you ever find yourself riding a train in Tokyo, you'll notice that the conductors have a particular habit. As each operator runs the train, they proceed through a ritual of pointing at direct objects and calling out commands. When the train approaches a signal, the operator will point at it and say, "Signal is green." As the train pulls into and out of each station, the operator will point at the speedometer and call out the exact speed. When it's time to leave, the operator will point at the timetable and state the time. Out on the platform, other employees are performing similar actions. Before each train departs, staff members will point along the edge of the platform and declare, "All clear." Every detail is identified, pointed at, and named aloud. This process, known as pointing and calling, is a safely system design is a safety system designed to reduce mistakes. It seems silly, but it works incredibly well. Pointing and calling reduces errors by up to 85% and cuts accidents by 30%. The MTA subway station in New York City adopted a modified version that is point only. And within 2 years of implementation, incidents of incorrectly berthed subways fell 57%. Pointing and calling is so effective because it raises the level of awareness from a non conscious habit to a more conscious level. So, real quick, let me just add this in. I don't remember if I said this in the beginning or not. What we're talking about here in this whole chapter is the first law, which is to make it obvious. And in this book, in prior chapters, he talks about four laws. And the four laws, they are the four laws of behavior change are a set of simple rules that you can use to build your habits. So the four laws is make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. So we're talking about everything we're talking about here is in reference to law one, make it obvious. So I guess this is why pointing and calling would be so effective. As he said, pointing and calling is so effective because it raises the level of awareness from a non conscious habit to a more conscious level. Because the train operators must use their eyes, hands, mouth, and ears, they are more likely to notice problems before something goes wrong. My wife does something similar. Whenever we are preparing to walk out the door for a trip, she verbally calls out the most essential items in her packing list. I got my keys, check. This is so me. I got my keys, check. I got my wallet, check. I got my glasses. I got my husband. The more automatic a behavior is, the less likely we are to consciously think about it. And when we've done something 1,000 times before, we begin to overlook things. We assume that the next time will be just like the last. We are so used to doing what we've always done that we won't stop to question whether it's the right thing to do at all. Mm. Many of our failures in performance are largely attributable to the lack of self awareness. One of our greatest challenges in changing habits is maintaining awareness of what we are actually doing. This helps explain why the consequence of bad habits can sneak up on us. We need a point and call system for our personal lives. That's the origin of the habit scoreboard, okay? Which is a simple exercise you can use to become more aware of your behavior. To create your own, make a list of your daily habits. All right, here's a sample of where your list might start. So I'm going to turn this over so you can see this list. Okay, so this is just what he has here. And just to give you an idea, if you were interested in trying to make you a list, oh, it's really blurry. I don't know if you can see, but this here is the list. Wake up. What's that? Turn off alarm. Check your phone. Let me see. I can't read it that way. Okay, so this is a list. Okay, um, a list of daily habits. Wake up, turn off your phone, turn off your alarm, check your phone, go to the bathroom, weigh yourself, take a shower, brush your teeth, floss your teeth, put on deodorant, hang up the towels to dry, get dressed, make a cup of tea, and so on. These are just things that your body is already autopilot to do. You know, these are something that you just unconsciously do. It's a thing that you just been programmed to do. It's your habits. It's what you formed. It's what you've been doing. Okay. Once you have a full list, look at each behavior and ask yourself, is this a good habit or a bad habit or a neutral habit? If it's a good habit, write a plus next to it. If it's a bad habit, write a minus sign next to it. If it's a neutral habit, write an equal sign next to it. Okay? For example, the list above might look like this. So again, this is the same list that he has down here. Let me see what this camera is. But he just added the symbols to it. I so apologize if y'all can't see this, if it's blurry. I'm trying. So anyway, just write a list of your programmed habits, your habits that you're unconscious of. And then you're going to make yourself aware. Make this list obvious. Make these behaviors and habits obvious to you. Beside the list, if it's a good habit, you're going to write a plus sign beside it. So if it's a bad habit, you're going to write a minus sign. And if it's a neutral habit, you're going to write an equal sign next to your habits, okay? The marks you give to a particular habit will depend on your situation and your goals. For someone who is trying to lose weight, eating a bagel with peanut butter every morning might be a bad habit. For someone who is trying to bulk up and add muscle, the same behavior might be a good habit. It all depends on what you're working towards. Scoring your habits can be a bit more complex for another reason as well. The labels, good habits and bad habits, are slightly inaccurate. There are no good habits or bad habits. There are only effective habits. That is, effective at solving problems. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Okay. That is effective at solving problems. There are only effective habits. That is effective at solving problems. All habits serve you in some way, even the bad ones, which is why you repeat them. For this exercise, categorize your habits by how they will benefit you in the long run. Generally speaking, good habits will have net positive outcomes. Bad habits will have net negative outcomes. Smoking a cigarette may reduce stress right now. That's how it's serving you. But it's not a healthy long term behavior. If you're still having trouble determining how to rate a particular habit, here's a question I like to use. Does this behavior help me become the type of person I wish to be? And that is what it's all about. This is why we're making changes in our lives. This is why we're creating healthier habits in our lives. This is why we're setting goals for ourselves. Because we're becoming someone that we desire to be. We are creating our own reality. We are thinking the things we want to think. We are doing the things that we want to do. We're believing in ourselves. We're changing our belief systems. We are working on real transformations here. And if you're still here rocking with me, then yes, you are making great transformation in your life. Keep striving, keep seeking wisdom, keep pinning yourself around people who inspires you. Read things that's gonna help you. Seek the knowledge and wisdom. It's definitely out there. Pray on it. All of that good stuff. Okay, let me not get sidetracked. But ask yourself, does this behavior help me to become the type of person I wish to be? Does this habit cast a vote for or against my desired identity? Habits that reinforce your desired identity are usually good. Habits that conflict with your desired identity are usually bad. As you create your habits scorecard, there is no need to change anything at first. The goal is to simply notice what is actually going on. Observe your thoughts and action without judgment or eternal criticism. Don't blame yourself for your faults. Don't praise yourself for your success. If you eat a chocolate bar every morning, acknowledge it, almost as if you were watching someone else. Oh, how interesting that would be to do such a thing. If you binge eat, simply notice that you are eating more calories than you should. If you waste time online, notice that you are spending your life in a way that you do not want. The first step to changing bad habits is to be on the lookout for them. If you feel like you need extra help, when you can try pointing and calling in your own life. If you feel like you need extra help, then try pointing and calling in your own life. Say out loud the action that you are thinking of taking and what the outcome will be. Okay. If you want to cut back on your junk food habits, but notice yourself grabbing another cookie, say out loud, I'm about to eat this cookie, but I don't need it. Eating it will cause me to gain weight and hurt my health. Mm, yes, that is going that is so aligned with my weight loss journey. Yes, hearing your bad habits spoken aloud makes the consequences seem more real. It adds weight to the action rather than letting yourself mindlessly slip into an old routine. This approach is useful even if you're simply trying to remember a task on your to do list. Just saying out loud, tomorrow I need to go to the post office after lunch, increases the odds that you'll actually do it. You're getting yourself to acknowledge the need for action, and that can make all the difference. The process of behavior change always starts with awareness. Strategies like pointing and calling and the habit scorecard are focused on getting you to recognize your habits and acknowledge the cues that trigger them. Make it possible to respond in a way that benefits you. Ooh, I don't know about y'all, but that was a good read. So we're going to summarize up the chapter. And that is, let me see. With enough practice, your brain will pick up on the cues that predict certain outcomes without consciously thinking about it. Once our habits become automatic, we stop paying attention to what we're doing. The process of behavior change always starts with awareness. You need to be aware of your habits before you can change them. Pointing and calling raises your level of awareness from a non conscious habit to a more conscious level by verbalizing your actions. The habit scorecard is a simple exercise you can use to become more aware of your behavior. Okay, so that was really, really, really good. I highlighted me some things I need to write down and take some notes on. I hope you received some good knowledge from that reading chapter 4 in Atomic Habits. And again, I encourage you, if you don't have the book and you would like to get familiar with it and all this great information, you can go get it. I got it off of Amazon. I can try and post the link below. I am not tech savvy. You know what? Let me take that back. Catching, challenging, changing when I'm speaking, watching myself talk. I have not learned how to do a lot of things with social media yet, but I am teachable, and I will soon get a lot of these things down pat. But I will try my best to see if I can maybe hit the link, or you can just go on Amazon and order the book. But it's a great book. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope that you can take something away from this, something positive that's going to help you towards the change that you are making in your life. Bless you, bless your day. Hope that you are continuing to walk in your power. Continue to be strong. Continue to strive to be the best version of yourself. Um, Together we will rise. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much again. Much gratitude from my heart to yours. Namaste.